What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Realignment Dynasty here on NCAA 14, featuring that college football revamp, of course, as we get a tough test here. Our first really tough task here in this season, as we not only go on the road here in great Mid-Eastern Conference play, but we also take on top 25 ranked Ohio State. And Ohio State, at least on paper, they have a better roster than what we got going on. B+ overall squad, A- offense, B+ defense. We are slightly lesser on paper, but despite that, Lee Corso is going to rock with us, and honestly, we've been looking really good so far this year. We just got to go ahead. We need to make sure that we bring our A game, because Ohio State, they are not playing around this year. They're off to a pretty good start as a football team, and they got a couple of your custom guys that we got to go up against as well. Nathan Games and Zachary Davis, the quarterback wide receiver tandem that we're going to have to deal with on the offensive side of the ball. But it's going to be a fun episode, man. I'm really excited for this episode. I hope you guys are as well. And if you are, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button as well if you have to be brand new. As we go ahead and go into Columbus, let's see if we can get this dub. I'll see you guys on the field. All right, boys, our first top 25 opponent, and we gonna get tested today here, man. Let's see how this offense handles the first drive as Andrew Gray. He doesn't even have time to process anything. He's gonna get absolutely lit up like a Christmas tree to start things out. We already take a 6-yard loss, not what we wanted to do. The only way that could be worse is we take a second sack. It's gonna be 3rd and 27 all of a sudden, and listen, we just got to make sure that we don't turn this football over at this point. This is not how we wanted to start this game in Columbus at all. This crowd about to be electric, especially when we throw an interception right there. And Nathan Games and company is going to have some phenomenal field position to work off of, as Robbie Mays is able to pick us off there. This Ohio State defense, it came to play. And now 1st and goal. We'll see if we can hold him to a field goal or something, something along those lines, right? And we'll see if we can get Nathan Games to go down. And how do we not clip? How's that tackle not register? I was right next to the guy. Like, you gotta let me tackle him, my boy. Like, what are we doing? But Ohio State, they are going to take a 7-0 lead. Not where we wanted to be, but Nathan Games does end up getting the scoring going for the Ohio State Buckeyes. As now our offense comes back out onto the field. We'll see if we can have a little bit of a better drive than last time around. And things are going solid. Things are going okay here. We do end up at least getting 1 first down. We'll see if we can get a 2nd first down here, as we got another 3rd and short. Trying to throw it over the middle for Aaron Ford, but he wasn't ready for that football, though. And that does mean that we do have to go ahead and punt this football away here. Is now 2nd and long coming up, as we do force a 3 and out on the Buckeyes, but we get sacked again. We're not even out of the first quarter yet. We've already been sacked 3 times today. That is not a winning formula by any stretch of the imagination. Now I know how Joe Burrow fell in his rookie campaign, but we do at least pick up some yards for Aaron Ford. It's not going to be enough for the first down marker, though. But you know what? As the great Uncle Sam's once said, scare money does not make any money, as we're going to go for it here on 4th down. 4th and 4. Ohio State sends the blitz, but Andrew Gray is going to stand tall in the pocket. And we will go ahead and get our first down that is going to extend the drive for us. But now we got to do something with this new drive. Ross gets it open over the middle to Corey Ross. He'll pick up a gain of 8 there. It'll get us in a 2nd and short situation. We will run it again with Nelson Sisk, who does find a nice hole there. And that sets us up in a goal line situation. We'll see if we can punch it in using our fullback, using the NTE approach, and Thompson is going to fall forward, finding his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Spartans. And we nod this thing up here in Columbus, as it's all tied at 7 apiece here. And now the Ohio State offense, they have their first legitimate drive of this game. Remember, their first drive was, they started inside the 5-yard line. So we'll see if this Ohio State offense can really do against us here, as Games is going to try to set up a screen here on the right-hand side. But we do sack him in the backfield, though, as that is Nathan Nelson that's able to line him up. And now 2nd and 21, where Games, he's going to actually run for it on the read option. He breaks one tackle, breaks the second, free. Finally, Early Austin's able to bring him down. But Christ, y'all, we cannot be giving these big plays on a 2nd and 20 plus. Like, it just can't happen, my guy. That is simply not it. And Ohio State gets itself back on schedule because of that run. And now they're threatening to score again. 2nd down coming up. It's another run up the gut. This time it's Gibson taking the carry. One of the wide receivers on this talented Ohio State roster is J.P. Gibson, his first carry of the day. And now it's a red zone opportunity for the Buckeyes, as Games looks over to the left-hand side, gets it out to his buddy and fellow custom player, Zachary Davis. He gets a catch for 15 yards. And that sets up the Buckeyes inside the 5-yard line, where they'll look to punch it in with their tailback, Troy Rivero. And Rivero, he had to fight through some defenders, but he just simply wanted it more there at the end of the day, as the Buckeyes are going to score in the end zone once again, and they will take the lead against us, as it's living up to the billing here in this game so far. 1 quarter of action, 14-7 lead so far, but we still got 3 quarters of football that needs to be played. So I'm not really worried about it as of right now, but we got to make sure that we can put some good drives together, because we're going to need to score some points if we want to win this game. I have that kind of feeling, as Gray is going to look over the middle, gets it out to Marcus Wiggins. Didn't mean to do that cut. That probably cost us quite a few yards. I was trying to set up that last block that could have got us into the end zone possibly, but it didn't work out for us. And instead, we probably lost a few yards off of that, but still a really good game nonetheless. Let's see if we can build off of this, though. It's 3rd and 6. Good trying to get him off bounds with the wide receiver screen, but Ohio State was all over it, and we almost get intercepted there. So we do have to go ahead and settle for the field goal, as that will cut this game down to just 4 points. And now the Ohio State offense will get itself back out onto the field with a 14-10 lead to work with, as well, as Games will once again be in the shotgun formation. He's going to drop back and pass. Gets it out short to his tailback, as that is Randy Foster, who is going to make the reception. It's not for a huge gain by any means, but it is good enough for a first down, as Games will looking for his star receiver, Zachary Davis. He actually leads the team in receiving yards coming into this game, but we've been holding him kind of quiet so far. He's always had that one catch, which is really promising. We're making this passing offense work for it, as that right there was simply just a coverage sack. It took us a little while to get to him, but thankfully the coverage held up. And now we did force them to punt the football away, but we actually do end up going 3 and out on our next possession. So we do pin Ohio State deep, so they have a lot of work to do before they can even begin to think about putting some points on the board, right? So we got that in the bag. But let's see if we can get him off the field here. 3rd and short, got him inside the 10-yard line. It's a halfback draw. We had a guy there to make the play, but he breaks the tackle, though, and does just enough to move up the sticks. That's frustrating, man, especially when we have guys in the position to make the play, and they're just not doing that right now, as this Ohio State team might be exposing us a little bit here. We got 2 broken tackles, and I don't know how we did it, but Ryan Herring makes the tackle here. Just zero awareness for these wide receivers, man. We got so lucky. That should have been a touchdown, no question. As now our defense, with a little bit of luck maybe, one would say, but we do what we need to do to try to keep the drive going, as that is a nice diving play by Greg Harvey there That's going to bring up 3rd and long. They've been decent on these 3rd down conversions, though. 1 for 2 on the day, as Game's going to try to throw this screen as Allen misses. But thankfully, the rest of our defense catches up soon enough to force this field goal attempt. Looks to be roughly a 45-yard field goal attempt. We'll see if this kicker got what it takes to make this kick, and he bounces it off the doink. And we will hold it down on defense, as we're going to go ahead and check out a little studio update that's going to apply for within our conference. And Purdue's also looking solid. They have a 21-14 lead. But going back to our game, though, we'll see if we can take advantage of the missed field goal as we come out here on 1st and 10 to start the drive off by handing it up the gut for Nelson Sisk, who's going to bounce it, to the outside a little bit, pick up a nice set of downs. As we now continue to try to move the ball downfield. This time, 2 minutes left to play. We got a man open downfield, and Johnson drops it. Wesley, you're a possession guy. That is your strength, and you can't do that for me? That's crazy. So instead, 3rd and 6 coming up for us, trying to pick up the 1st down. We do a better job with the screen, but we don't get all of the blocks that we're looking for, as Mike Anderson actually is going to get lit up there. But we do get a second chance at, putting some points on the board before the end of the 1st half. As Robertson, he comes down with that. Yo, the backup tight end mossing somebody. That's crazy. And we got a chance to actually take the lead before halftime, but Andrew Gray is going to take a little bit of a loss right here. Charles Holden able to get into the backfield. Is now 2nd and goal coming up. Gray going to look to the right-hand side, trying to get it out to Holt, but Holt actually drops that pass as well. And a 3rd and goal awaiting for us here as we try to do what's necessary. Listen, if it's not open, we got to come away with points, straight up and down. And sure enough, we will be coming with some points, and it's going to be a touchdown as Mike Anderson makes the grab. Let's go, baby! Anderson making moves on the outside. They tried to press him up, but he's too good for all of that noise. And that is what the score is going to be going to the locker room. We finish the first half strong, and we're going to be up by a field goal. So welcome back to the second half, guys, as Ohio State does start with the football, as we were the first teams to possess it back when this game originally started. But now we jump into the second half action here as Ohio State starts to get things going here. Randy Foster is going to pick up where he left off. He is continuing to attack us on the ground. That has been a problem. The run defense, not necessarily where I want to be. At least not yet. I think that's going to have to be addressed with, recruiting some better players. Still have some of the old guard in there, but, we see some younger guys like Ryan Herring and Early Austin helping out a little bit in that regard. But it's going to be a long recruiting effort, that's for sure, until I feel like we're truly ready to compete for a national championship, as Randy Foster continues to kill us on the ground. He's already has 100 yards on the ground. We got a ton of football left to play too, as I'm surprised they don't go to him again, but Game's facing some pressure, and Randy Foster, while he does make the catch, it's nowhere near the sticks. So we do somehow come down, and we make sure that they have to go ahead and punt this football away. And now our offense takes the field. They have been rolling high here as we ended the first half on a pretty strong note, I would say. We'll see if our offense can keep that going against what is a pretty good opponent, as we fake them out with the halfback draw, and we get to midfield before Nelson Sisk even gets touched. He's actually having a good day as well. 73 yards rushing, as Gray is starting to field himself out a little bit. Mike Anderson makes the catch on the curl pattern. Definitely in rhythm, and that's what this offense is really predicated on in terms of our passing game. Just making sure that we got a good rhythm and making sure we're on time with our delivery, as Gray tries to make something shake here on 3rd and 6, and Perry Robertson, he was initially pressed on, but you know, he was left alone, and we found a soft spot in that zone. But Gray is going to finish this drive on a sorrow note, though, as Jamal Evans, the true freshman, this man was just at a high school prom a few months ago. He's playing big-time college football now. And our drive is going to end because of that. That's a tough look here, because we had a chance to extend this lead, and it just didn't happen. And how is that not at least deflected, though? Sam Hicks is going to come down and make the catch, but I had a couple of guys in the vicinity. Just neither of them able to locate the football, unfortunately, as Foster, he's going to continue to pound us on the ground there. He's having a phenomenal day. 9 yards per carry. That's basically a first down every time this man has touched the ball. That's absolutely incredible. As they don't go to him for a 3rd and short, but instead tries to pass it, but we lock up on the man-to-man. And Patrick Goshwin, he's able to get the sack and end that drive. So we're keeping Ohio State at bay for the time being, but our offense starting to get a little bit cold here as we end up going 3 and out on our next possession. So here comes the Ohio State offense once again here in the latter stages of the 3rd quarter. As Herring's going to move up in the box, get an extra guy for what probably ends up being a run for Gibson. And we set a blitzer up that way where J.P. Gibson found the hole. Again, another thing about us, man, we could not make the play. So you hate to see it, but you love to see this, though. We get Nathan Games in the backfield. That's going to bring up that final quarter, man. Only up by a few points. We're going to see if we can hold off this upset-minded Ohio State squad. 4th quarter coming up. This is a big one. So welcome back to the 4th quarter here, man. We start things off on a 3rd and 19, so surely everything's going to be okay, right? Hopefully, Games trying to make something shaken. Burden was left open. We were doing a great job in coverage, but we just could not really get any pressure whatsoever, and that gave Nathan all the time in the world to make that particular play. And now Ohio State is really driving this football down the field here as we get to another 3rd and long. Hopefully we can have a little bit better luck this time actually getting to this quarterback, as they'll drop back here on this 3rd down. No surprise, he's going to throw a dot over the left-hand side, gets it out to Burden, and Burden's going to provide a red zone opportunity and a chance to take the lead possibly, as Randy's Foster, yet another carry that goes extremely well, even though it brings the yards per carry down a little bit. Now it's 2nd and short. Games, we're going to drop back. Goal line situation. Only one wide receiver out there. I'm surprised Games just didn't decide to go ahead and scramble out of the pocket or even throw it away. But again, getting a little bit lucky there. As it's 3rd down, we send the blitz again, and we get to this quarterback yet again, as Nathan Games is going to be forced to settle for a field goal. So while we do end up relinquishing our lead, we aren't facing a deficit either. You know, we're all knotted up. These next 6 minutes right here could very well decide who's going to go ahead and win this football game. 1st and 10. Going to go under center here real fast. Throwing it over to the left-hand side quickly. And Mike Anderson is able to snatch that thing out of the air, as we did throw that just a little bit higher than I wanted to, but still positive yards, so you love to see it. As now, Gray going to try to scramble here, trying to get it out to Wesley Johnson, but we threw it late. We were actually very fortunate there that we didn't end up getting intercepted there, but still a 3rd down that we got to deal with. As we go for 4 wide set, Gray tries to get it out to Corey Ross, but Corey Ross, he is unable to go ahead and come down with it. So that does mean we got to go ahead and punt this football away. As now, Ohio State, they look to retake the lead for the first time since, I want to say, like, first couple of minutes of this game. They have not had the lead for a very long time, but it's not about when you have it, as long as you have it when it matters the most, if that makes any sort of sense to you guys. But Zachary Davis going to make another catch. One of your guys' Custom Prospects, by the way. That's why they got the YT at the end of their name, as Nathan Games gets lit up, but gets the pitch out just in the nick of time, though, as DeAndre Burden makes the grab for 23 yards off the pitch. And here comes the Buckeyes again. Games facing pressure, though. I don't know if they're trying to set up a screen or if it was like a fake screen, but we do get him to a 3rd and long, though, and we'll send the blitz again, trying to make this quarterback think on his feet, as Games looks over the middle. He had Gibson, but Gibson drops the pass. That would have put him in field goal range. And speaking of field goal range, we're in the shadow of that on our end. Inside the 10-yard line to start this drive. Gonna need a lot of yardage before we even start thinking about getting points on the board. Definitely in that black zone, as the offensive coordinator for the Lions likes to call it. So want to at least get a couple of first downs if we, so that if we have to go ahead and flip the field, we can at least go ahead and, you know, give us a little bit of breathing room to prevent a losing at the very last second, because that'll be a tough pill to swallow. But Gary, he's going to hand it off to Nathan Sisk, who does pick up a good set of yardage here once again. And, you know, drives progressing just fine. Nelson Sisk on the edge of 100 yards there. But we're going to try to pass it here on this 3rd and short, as Gray looks to the right-hand side. Perry Robertson was actually all by himself there. And Perry Robinson will pick up a gain of 8. As now we'll get ourselves on the ball a little bit more. Going to move with a little bit more purpose at this point, as Thompson is going to make the grab. But it's not a first down, though, so we do end up using one of our timeouts. As now, 3rd and 6. Huge play for us here to make sure at the very least Ohio State does not get the football. Thompson can't reach the first down. And Ohio State is going to have one more chance here to win this game in regulation. Games drops back, looking. He's got time, and he finds Hicks over the middle of the field. First down for Ohio State, and they are also going to go into a no huddle. Defense better be ready. This is a critical time. Games throwing again here, but facing pressure this time. Randy Foster still makes the catch, though, and it's yet another first down to allow Ohio State to get their offense set before the clock begins to run once again. Games, 3rd pass attempt of this drive, but this time it ends up being dropped, though. Probably for the best, because if that was caught and he did pick up the first down, which was definitely the case, oh, that could have really helped us right there. You gotta be able to come down with that grab, but instead, 3rd and 10 coming up, a chance to get off the field, which would be really nice to see. Games looking, gets it out to Burden, and 4th down is going to come up here, and that will go ahead, and they will actually punt this football away. So we actually are going to go ahead, and we are going to overtime. You know, those 60 minutes of football that we played, certainly not going to be enough. And now things get really interesting. We'll go ahead and start with the football first to begin this game. And you'll definitely want to start this off with a touchdown if we can somehow find a way to go ahead and make that happen here, as that will put a lot less pressure on our defense. And sure enough, Andrew Gray is going to deliver, as Mike Anderson is able to make the catch there. So our first drive here in overtime goes extraordinarily well, and that will make it 24-17. So now our defense is on the field, and if they can force him out of the end zone on this drive, it's barbecue chicken. But Ohio State, they know this. They're going to give us everything that they have here, already sitting in the red zone, as Zach Davis makes the 9-yard catch, makes it 2nd and short. Going with another run on 2nd and 1. Foster on the outside, and now it's a goal line situation. They're looking just as good as we were on our first drive, and Games will look to finish it off, thrown in the middle of the end zone, but Burden drops it. That would have guaranteed a 2nd overtime, but instead, second and goal. Games trying to pick him off. Looking to his right, fires it out to Zach Davis, who fires his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State. And one overtime is not going to be enough to decide this game. So that does end up meaning that we are actually going to have a second overtime that's going to be needed. As now Ohio State will actually begin the second overtime with the football. So now we can dictate what our offense needs to do, because they will get at least one more shot. Games gets it out to Foster, but Foster breaks the tackle and nearly finds his way into the end zone. Still possible for them to pick up this first down without getting into the end zone. And that's what we got going on right now. 3rd and 1. Trying to throw everything that we got in this run. But Foster gets a toss to the outside, and we were not looking for that. Good play call here on the goal line. And after an extra point, now our guys are going to have to come out. We will need a touchdown. Otherwise, if we don't, this game is over. And we're going to take our first loss of the season. So we got to make sure we prevent that. As Sisk, he's going to run it up the gut. He's going to move it forward for a gain of 5 yards there. So a huge drive. Got to be methodical. 2nd and 5 coming up. Gray dropping back. Looks over right hand side. Gets out to Corey Ross, who is able to snag that with a singular hand. That's fantastic to see. And now a goal line situation ourselves, which we easily convert because Mike Anderson, he was wide butt naked open. And fun fact, he also is going to tie the school record for most receiving touchdowns in a single game. So we do force a 3rd overtime, but we go 3 and out on that next possession. We settle for a field goal. So now if Ohio State scores a touchdown, it's over, but it's going to actually be over for them. As look at that. Huge play. Is that Early Austin? That looks like it's him. He's that man. And this game is going to be barbecue chicken. Triple overtime being what it takes to get the job done. And we are going to remain undefeated on the season. But luckily for us, though, even though we do not end up finishing the game technically, because we did freeze and crash at the very end, we actually did simulate the game because I didn't want to play the entire game over right from scratch, right? So lucky for us, though, we do still end up winning this game against Ohio State. It actually ends up being a similar score than what the last game ended up being. Now, I believe like when we were actually playing the game, it ended up being like 34-31. This score ends up being 38-35. So pretty similar game, top and down, where, you know, we did also lose a turnover battle in simulation. But Nathan Games was solid though. 14 for 20, 204 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. As for Zachary Davis, we actually do a really good job in sim of holding it down. He only ends up with 2 catches and 11 yards. So neither of the custom prospects for Ohio State played fantastic, but even though Ohio State did lose this game, they do still remain in the top 25. As we'll go ahead and get ready to go for next episode, as we'll continue Great Mid-Eastern Conference play, where we'll be taking on another Ohio team that does not have as much tradition, and that is the Toledo Rockets. We'll be once again going on the road for that matchup, so should be a good one. We'll go ahead and see if we can continue our undefeated season, but either way, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, even though the gameplay didn't technically count, but we still won anyways. If you did, make sure you go ahead and smack that like button for me, and then hit that subscribe button if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. This is John Chick Gaming on the mic signing off, but I'm hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.